Welcome back to another episode of Whatchu Spinnin. This is episode 15, the instrumental edition. We are here live at Matt's house. Thank you for hosting us, pal. How are we all doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Chilling.
Nice.
You ready?
You're as good as you can be, pal.
I'm all beaten up. I mean, if you could see my face,
Yeah.
I'm all like,
You've had a rough day, but now we're chilling. We're going to talk about some damn good music.
Sure.
Off camera, we decided that we were going to talk about Matt's album first, so let's go ahead and just dive nose first into that. What did you bring for us, Matt?
I threw out a more eclectic kind of mix. It's a band called Godspeed, You Black Emperor. They're from Canada, and the album I chose was called Lift Your Skinny Fist Like Antennas to Heaven. Four songs. Four
What's
songs.
the runtime on it?
I think it was
like
an hour and 42 minutes or something like that.
Almost hour and a half, dude.
Yeah, it's.
I love the title of it first off.
And
Godspeed, you.
Godspeed, You Black Emperor. And
And the album, the
Yeah.
Your Skinny Fist Like Antennas to Heaven.
It's a whole thing.
it's eclectic if anything. You know, it came out in 2000. It's a lot of different instruments doing a lot of different things at once. It's like a score in a sense. I like it because it goes through different moods. And when they wrote the album, one of the lead members kind of wrote it in sections of like movements.
Okay.
And some of the inner album artwork shows that it like has this different display of blocks, and it shows the blocks kind of raising and going up or down as the music intensifies through the song. So he was very like into the album as being kind of a concept album or kind of more of a he kind of draw you in that way. But for me, when I listen to it, it's very movie-esque. You can listen to it like a movie score. You feel like it's like I said earlier, it kind of goes through different moods. I enjoy it. What do you guys think about it?
Like you said, it's like very movie-esque. When I was listening to it, I was just like, damn, this is like really dramatic.
Yeah.
But, like in a good way.
Right.
And then I wrote down, so Static. I feel like it was kind of like a dark track.
Yeah.
But
Very
Static,
much,
but Static was, when I was listening, I was like, damn, this is good. But yeah, it was like really interesting to listen to this album, and then also like the album cover art. Like it's really like
It's kind of intense.
it's very
There's not
intense.
a lot. There's not a lot going on, but those like I don't know. It's like
It's one
grabs
of those
you.
things, It's one of those things where it's like a picture speaks 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then to have it for the content of the album, it's like I love when it matches up like that. And
Yeah.
it is very dramatic, and those hands are just. It's like
Yeah.
weird. It's like weird, but I saw it and I was like, ooh, that like kind of grabs you away
It
visually.
reminded me of what was that? I forget the name of it, but like the God picture where it's like
Creation of Adam.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Like the hands of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the more that I listened to it, and I was like looking at the album cover, then I was like, oh,
It makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So-
dope. Yeah.
yeah. Some of them, like some of the tracks, because they're all pretty long. They're all like 20+ minutes long.
They are
Which I
pretty
think,
long,
yeah, I think that's really cool though,
It's
because
same, dude.
like, what? Like it's an album. It's an hour plus long, and it only has 4 fucking tracks.
Ain't nobody do 20 minutes.
Yeah. To see this
So that's dope.
band live is a treat because they do that, and you're like, how the hell they keep playing that song? And you're just like, some of it's very monotonous and like kind of like, okay, let's fast forward the song a little bit because that beat's getting a little repetitive, but like they do that live, and people are just like in awe because
People are
for a musician, for a group of musicians to sit there and do that consistently and be in key and in tune and doing that every time they perform, it's a treat, man. And to do that live and on a record is great.
Yeah.
I think it's something like really interesting too. Like I wanted to bring up this point that like, so with instrumental instrumental tracks, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, this is a song without words.
Yeah.
And then it just stops there for them. But I'm like, when you have like an instrumental track, you have so much to play with because there isn't the spoken word on it. So you could really play around with the track and the beat and change it to however you want. And I think that's very interesting about instrumental albums.
That's true.
Yeah.
You could not necessarily like listen to words and like put words in it, but it's so much more different. It makes like the track so much more unique that it's just like instrument and just like no, it's not like a word or a lyric that you're like pay attention to. You're just listening to like the sounds.
It's still
And,
emotion, like even though you don't get the words, you still get the emotion connected with, you know, whatever sound is coming from this instrumental song.
Right.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, and it also makes you, in a way, appreciate, you know, music as a whole more, but also music that has, you know, vocals or words over it. Because you're like, it'll make you, because a lot of those songs, you know, there's multiple bands, you know, like we talked about Tool on here, you know, the instrumentation behind it is so incredible, and Maynard's also like, you know, a fantastic singer, but instrumental, you know, and I feel like you have to at least listen to an album like this, you know, where it's just epic and instrumental in order to really gain that deeper appreciation for music as a whole. Or if you play it, that's completely, you know, that's off by the wayside. But no, this, like, you guys said it, movie-esque. Like, I was watching it basically in my head.
You can make your own movie. You make your own movie, yeah.
You said it perfectly.
It's like choose your own adventure. And
Dude, just the mental imagery that I got from this album when I was listening to it was unreal. It was like, like I was telling you, Matt, it felt like it was like a hero's journey, you know? This guy's, you know, going through a struggle at one part of the song, and then he's like, you know, starting to become triumphant. But right before he's about to triumph, whatever thing he's trying to conquer, or, you know, the life situation intensifies, and then at the end there's the resolution, and I was like, dude, I feel like I could write a goddamn movie right now listening to this, and I just could score it to this. So it is very much a score.
Dude, that's like awesome way to put it.
That's like
spot on.
And it like,
because sometimes it does like make you feel like that. Like at certain points that because I'll try to listen to like an album like on a day if I can, because I just absorb it all in one go.
Right.
Yeah.
And this one, it like every time that I was listening to it, like I was feeling something more different. Like throughout a whole day, I was listening to this album, and I finished it, and I came back on a couple tracks that I was like that caught my eye. And at some certain points to it, I think it's Static or is it Sleep? One of those songs, but it's
I made your batch of jerky to this album last night.
Dude.
Literally.
Shut up.
You could taste the passion.
Yeah. That's probably why I finished it up so quick, because I was just like, go.
He's like sweating and everything.
Yeah, just dramatic. It was like a movie.
Like somebody's chasing you.
Yeah.
To Heaven, great song.
Yeah.
I think so. I wrote it down. I think it's like 9 minutes or like 10 or 12, where it starts getting more intense. The same thing with Static. Unbelievable. Like we talked about, like nobody makes 22 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
And to be able to listen to this and actually enjoy it full on is like a trip.
Yeah.
And yeah, like 4 songs, 22 minutes each.
Yeah.
Roughly. But it's, damn, dude, those, like, way from left field, dude, I never would have even thought of this, dude. Like, how did you,
I stumbled across him when I started listening to Cigaros.
okay.
You know, I think I was
Like a recommendation or something?
I was like, groups that sound like Cigaros. And I was like,
I could kind of see it.
Yeah, a little bit.
I had the same kind of feeling from it, of epicness, you know, like, because we talked on that episode about how Cigaros could, like, it's been in movies, and it also has a very
There's a
movie
few.
feel.
Yeah,
this was times 100, that times 100 for me.
For sure. And this band, you know, they were in. They had a song from another album called East Hastings from their first album that was in 28 Days Later. So it's been in a movie.
Okay.
So you can kind of feel, It's an
Okay.
older movie, but
it's
Explosions in the Sky is another band out of Texas.
Yeah, you've shown me them.
They did the soundtrack for the Friday Night Lights show. That
Yep.
was on.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually when you
And
asked me
that's
about
very
it.
like
Yeah.
ambient guitar rock, where it's like, and there's no words or anything. It's very
Yeah.
instrumental, so
Yeah.
kind of a good comparison there. But yeah, this band is just unique in a sense. You know, it's hard
Yeah.
to pick your top 3 tracks for this album because there's 4.
Yeah. I felt kind of bad. I was like, I gotta do it though. Like,
Right.
I
You gotta take one out.
But it's no discredit to him.
Yeah, you gotta take one out.
Yeah.
Can't take one out.
It's like you can never listen to one for the rest of your life, you know, type of thing. But what was the track you were gonna mention? Static or Sleep?
Those, yeah, and then like Antennas to Heaven also. I really like that. That was probably my favorite, just because at like a point you can hear like a drum and like a guitar, and it's like extensive throughout.
Sure.
Because it's also like a longer song.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, like another, I think it was Static that I was listening to at night, and like at a certain point, I was like kind of scared.
Yeah.
Like
Static is intense.
I was kind of scared, and I was like, oh, like
It's that tempo increase at that middle point, like the middle to end piece.
Yeah.
It's that tempo
Yeah.
increase where the just starts getting faster and faster.
That's your heartbeat.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I was driving when that came on, and I was like, thank God, I'm almost to the grocery store. I'm fucking shaking right now. Like,
Yeah.
Jacob, really, you up?
Dude, it was crazy, man. Like I was listening to it, and I was like so in the zone and like so into. I was so caught by it that I was like feeling like kind of scared at
Yeah,
like
yeah.
certain points, because I was like so involved into it, like you could say. But like a lot of most of these songs, like the 4 songs, they really do test you. Like it really tested me to like not only listen to it but kind of feel it a little bit more.
right.
Like see like how it makes me feel, like just listening
Kind of
to a
puts you
certain
into
track.
that mindset.
Yeah, like
And
you're in
that's what
that
I appreciate
headspace.
about this album, man, is that like it really like forces you to really put yourself in this mindset of what they're trying to paint,
Mhm.
and it's just like you guys said,
Yeah.
super visual,
Yeah.
super dramatic, like Super Rose. Dude, this is so dope. I'm really
Yeah.
glad you picked this out.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
this is
Okay, cool.
and this is another one of those albums that is, you know, dramatic and massive, but it's one that I can honestly see myself going back to and putting on, like, even in front of people, you know, because there's some music where you're like, I love this, but I'm never gonna play this in front of other people because this is hard to access. But this is just like you told me, you suggested, because I was like, I'm listening to it because my commute to and from work is about the length of one of those songs. So over 2 days, I drove to work, listened to one,
Dude.
finished it in the parking lot,
Hell yeah.
did the same thing, finished it when I got home, and that literally Thursday and Friday, that's what I did. And so, and it was perfect. And you were like, also, if you like end up cooking, put it on during that. And so that's why when I made Jacob's jerky last night, I was like, all right, well, I'm like almost done with Static. Let me just restart that
Does
one.
it taste like dramatic?
It tastes like blood and sweat.
Yeah. Dude, it was yeah, it is. And I was like, man, I've never had someone be like, you know, suggest, hey, listen to this album while you do this
Yeah.
or this, unless it's like, you know, smoking pot. And so,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
listen to this while you're high, man. But you know, and I've had people be like, listen to this while you're cooking, and I've never had it like work that well with that scenario. And so I was
Very
like.
cool.
I was like, dude, he's right. I was like, I'm gonna make a fancy steak dinner maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
I feel the same way. Like I could work on my bike,
Yeah.
this album, just like how Tool was
Yeah.
for me.
right.
It's just something that I want to throw in the background that's like intense, but
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm doing my own thing.
It's very good, like like you said, man, ambient like background music.
Yeah.
It is very ambient.
Yeah. I was blown the hell away because I had heard of these guys through like a music Facebook page where it's like really shitty music memes, and these guys were in the comments
No
like
face.
memeing about Godspeed You, Black Emperor, and I was like, what the hell is that band? I was like, what the? And then so last week, like when you brought it up, I was like, let's go! Like I finally get to listen to these guys
Oh, yeah.
and see what the hell they were talking about in that
Cool.
comment page.
That's cool.
But
Which
I'm-
one are you throwing out?
I'm throwing out. I didn't want to. Again, like I said, dude, it was so good. But I'm throwing out.
gotta toss it.
I'm throwing out Sleep, but I love that song too.
Okay.
I'm throwing out Sleep.
Dude, I'm on
I would've
the
kept
same
that.
page with you on that one.
So number one for me is Static,
Okay.
just because of that really hard rock feel toward the end, and that tempo increase is so intense. So Static is number 1. 2, Like Antennas to Heaven, and number 3 was Storm for me. And just because like it was a great start out, and like conceptually it was really nice. My favorite part from that song is when the drums kick in. They did like a filter or an effect on it to where the drums are muffled for like the first minute and a half that they're in there, and then they slowly took the effect off, and so the drums become more clear, and then the song just goes. And so that was why it made the cut over Sleep. So those are my top 3.
It's a really good like name too for the song.
Yeah.
Storm.
Yeah, perfect. And then I love the Arco AM PM like little sample at the end. This is
I
an
heard
Arco
that,
AM
yeah.
PM.
I was like, are they talking about the one here? Like, I was
Yeah,
like,
what's going on?
Threw me
have
off.
your say.
I liked all of them, dude. It's hard for me to leave one out per
Right.
se,
It is
but
hard.
probably all of them except Storm. Just because I feel like I love it for an intro. I think it's a good intro. I'm not discrediting it, but I felt a lot more like different towards the other ones because that's the thing about like music at a certain point, like you have to like not only just listen to it but see how you feel with it, and I felt definitely a lot stronger like with the like last half. There's only
The last 2 tracks.
the last
Feel
3
more,
tracks.
Like, connected with.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like listening to it a lot more and paying attention a lot more, I guess, because like it caught my sooner because I like
Caught you,
Static.
bro.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like we
And
said,
visually.
and the eye,
It's
yeah.
a very visual album for
Yeah,
sure, because you
yeah.
can picture any kind, like you were saying, the movie scene that you saw is something different than what I see maybe, and
Yeah.
something different what you guys see. You know, it's
Yeah.
It's like
I'm picturing Tom Cruise and Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my top 3 is Static, number 1, Like Antennas to Heaven, and then Storm.
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, dude, it's an amazing pick. I mean, we talked about Nine Inch Nails, 1999. They come out in 1999.
That album, yeah.
The fragile.
Music Side Child, 2000. This album, 2000.
Yeah. And Slipknot was 1999 too, so that was like a crazy
So
2-year
many
span for
different genres
music.
just kind of sparking
Very-
themselves and going
and
in their own direction. which is cool.
What I think is interesting is that like it isn't like at this point in time it isn't very genre bending.
Mhm.
There's just established genres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was like those 2 years, 99 to 2000, was really when kind of like
Crazy.
probably the last big wave. I mean, other than like some genres just getting huge, say.
In terms of like innovative sound.
Yeah,
Sure.
people were really experimenting back then and making some really
They were.
damn good music. That's
I just
a
wanted to
great.
bring that up.
No, that was a great
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
dude.
good point.
I just thought it was like
it came
really
out like the
interesting.
first, didn't it? Like the 1st of January or whatever.
Yeah, it was pretty soon in the.
Yeah, it was like
Music.
literally like the first
George's
thing that
album
came out
was
in
the
the
last
year.
one.
Yeah.
I think it was like
Oh yeah, I mean,
October
yeah,
or something.
mine too.
Yeah, this was January 1st.
Yeah, it shows up January 1st, 2000.
It's just funny to like think about like music, but also like other forms of entertainment, like movies,
Mhm.
like Spider-Man,
Yeah. Yeah.
X-Men,
Yeah.
literally all 2000.
Yeah. And then
It-
just like
it-
the Matrix stuff was getting big,
Exactly.
which is going to come up when we talk about your album here
Yes.
in a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like a really interesting like moment in history where it's like there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
A lot of people were. I mean, we had like a little like recession, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of it, and then all this entertainment just like blows up to distract everybody.
Yeah.
But
It
in
was
a good
pretty-
way.
It was pretty
in
cool.
a good, healthy
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
It was very interesting.
Sure. My top tracks. I love Storm. That's probably my top one. Everybody's like, nope.
Or Sleep or Storm.
Or Storm. I like Storm.
Okay, Storm.
Because it builds the whole album. It sets the tone.
Mm-hmm.
about 10 minutes in, you kind of feel it. You just feel the drums kicking in. I don't know if that's what you were talking about, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
That song, like where it kind of gets muffled, and then you're just like.
Yeah, and then it comes in at the right moment. But
like
but when that lead-in is there, it's like very muffled in the background, and that was the exact part I was talking about.
I like Static the most. I think everybody does because of the different samples that were used with the Preacher and the AM/PM, and the Preacher one's so dark, and I think that kind of sets the mode to where it gets kind of dark. You're like, this is kind of evil a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you hear that violin kick in, like, I don't know, there's something about that just kind of it hits your heart. And for me, it invokes an emotion in me that's it's not good or bad. It just makes me feel something.
Yeah, makes you feel a little bit.
Whenever music can do that, whether it's somebody's vocal or somebody's instrument, that's powerful music. And so that's why I appreciate this band, and I'm glad you guys found some sort of unique likeness to it. So
for sure. I was so dope.
Yeah, for sure.
Matt literally said, "Let me get on this podcast and blow these guys' minds every single fucking episode," and I love it. No, very well, very great album, good pick. Do we have any other final thoughts on it?
Yeah, that album sucked.
No, that was damn impressive. Dude. I couldn't write much about it because there's only 4 tracks, and I was like, I know what I feel in my brain about it because it's like it resonated with me that much. But that was Godspeed You Black Emperor. Raise your skinny fist like antennas to heaven. Matt's pick for this week. We're gonna dive into the next one. All right. So we just finished talking about Matt's pick. We're gonna go ahead and dive right on into Jake's for this week. What did you bring to the table?
So, someone we've talked about quite a bit this pod, not in this one, but in recent ones. The Alchemist, rapper's best friend 4. So that's like the Alchemist, we've brought him up a whole lot. Kind of getting old at this point. But
we talk about Boldy.
Yeah, it's
all
relative.
Talk about Griselda extensively. I don't think it's getting old.
Dude, I mean, it's just like good like beats that like you can like head bop to and like you're like feeling and shit. Like this is like one of those, he does like series that he does that he's like made instrumentals, and therefore a lot of the time like rappers that like you've worked with. So that's the 4th one. I think there's like 6 or something, but this came out in 2017. It came out sometimes even after and before like the artists themselves have used the like track of it. But yeah, it's just some dope hip hop beats. Like, what do you guys think about it, basically?
So, it surprised me because this song, I Gave You Power, on this album, I used to listen to this song from Havoc. He made this song for Havoc, and Havoc from Mobb Deep was rapping over this, and I always really loved the beat, and I was very surprised that it was on this album.
Right.
So when I heard it, I was just like, dude, I'm like, yes. It was a very good fucking song. Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about we've talked about how like certain sounds can be like abstract. I think to me, that song Cobb is very abstract to me because there's drums, but there's piano, but it's all like jumbled up together, but it still makes sense. And I thought that was like super cool. That, and then of course Terry. Yeah, Terry is like such a good song. But yeah, I mean, like it's just really dope. Like Father, Like Son, Part 2. I'm unaware. I didn't research it, but like, did he make the beat for like Father, Like Son for the game, or was that Kanye? I thought it was Kanye.
I don't know. I was looking up some of the songs that he like shared to other rappers and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the tracks are just like tracks that he like makes and stuff. But I didn't see that one. I didn't see that.
I just thought it was. Well, yeah.
But I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that he said like Father Son Part 2.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the like.
Seas of Power is the song that I was talking about.
Seas of Power is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Cobb, wow. Big League Chew, super funny. I mean, we've all had that bubble gum before.
Yeah.
The
Right.
pouch.
Yep.
So I thought it was like really funny that he has like funny names like that. I think he's a very, very good artist that knows how to portray his sound,
Yeah.
like what he's feeling. He's
Right.
like very good at it.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
I liked it. It was cool to hear the instrumental tracks because I know some of these were used for other artists.
Yeah.
Right? You know, they're kind of the musician or an instrumental part behind that song. So it was cool to hear him. The song Jabroni had some cool samples.
Mhm.
It kind of brought it up to you a little bit, you know, about it being kind of a throwback to Brian Eno, who's an ambient musician.
Yeah.
So some of the samples in Jabroni sound very similar to a song that he did for an album called Music for Films. The song's called Chords. But if you listen to chords, you can hear the different. I'm not even sure what the instrument is.
It's
but-
like just like it. It's like he put it like right next to each other and it like sampled. It sounds just like it. And that was a crazy catch when you mentioned that. I heard it
and
and I was like, dude.
it's just a random catch.
Yeah.
I like that musician. I was
I
like,
wish I
I
would
know
have
that
known what
musician.
song you guys were talking about because I would have.
Yeah, I'll send it, dude.
Yeah.
It sounds just like it. Like it's like spot on, and that's the cool thing about like music and especially instrumental, though, like the sampling, because you can hear different tracks from different like songs and artists that they've done. Because that's what beats are. Like a lot of it
one
is.
of those things, like how I was saying, is where it's like you have when there's no spoken word, you have so much creativity to play around with like a beat and make it like evoke some type of emotion.
Because it's just like raw sound, like it's just like stuff that you're hearing, and then like especially on that song, like the fact like you caught that, and it's the same. It's like the same thing, but you hear it in a different way that like someone is making it like different.
Two different songs in general.
One sounds like it's like you can like relax with, and the other one sounds like you can head bop. And,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're like tuning
Would you
with,
say
and you're
it's
like,
he did his own take on that song?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
but you hear the samples on it, and it's really cool.
Yep. And you're just like, wow, he dove back in time, or maybe he didn't. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. Who cares?
you
But, like,
caught-
it sounds
He got
cool.
in his DeLorean and went back to.
It's cool to hear it. It's cool to hear
Yeah.
that, like that passing of the torch in the sense.
Dorian caught one that I wasn't aware of.
The No You're Wrong.
Mhm.
It was so I'm a big Schoolboy Q fan, as we've talked about in the past, with me bringing up Kendrick Lamar. On Schoolboy Q's album, the Blank Face LP, he has a song called "Know You Wrong," and it's a really good, great 2-part like hip hop song, and it's just like very groovy, almost has like a jazzy-esque kind of feel to it. And Alchemist did the beat for it, and the first part of it, because the beat, there's like a beat switch in the middle
It was
of it.
like 2 producers or something.
He just did the first half of it.
Mhm.
But Know You Wrong was on this, and I was listening to, because I've been telling Jacob, like, if I ever beat him in a fist fight, that's my prize, because I want that album, because it's on there. And that Know You Wrong by Schoolboy Q is one of my favorite songs of his. And so I caught that. I was like, no shit, like that was Alchemist? Because I had no idea. I've been listening to that song for years, and I told Jacob, and he's like, wait, what? And I played the actual song, and I was like, yeah, did you know Al did the first part of the beat? He's like, what? And I said, dude, you have it on fucking vinyl. I was like, you brag and tell me you're listening to it all the time. I was like, yeah. So no, that was.
That's how I feel about Seas of Power, because like it's
exactly.
just Havoc. Unfortunately, when Prodigy passed away, Havoc released his whole album.
Yeah.
It's titled Seas of Power, and like that's the song.
Right.
But
That's
I
tight.
was very impressed by it too. Like
Yeah.
I was just like, damn. this is on this album.
Yeah,
Fuck.
and like Know You Wrong, that album came out like 7 years ago. Blank Face LP.
Yeah.
It was 2016.
Yeah, Blank Face LP was like, and this came out like
the year. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Cause like I was looking at the sequence of like when the track that the artist actually made that like he gave it to made it, and
That
then
was
when
good.
this like actual thing. So yeah, that song came out a year before,
Damn.
and then this dropped with the sample on it.
That's crazy.
and that's what's cool
Shout
about
out to
it.
Uncle Al,
Yeah.
Uncle TDE,
Yeah.
All those,
your
yeah.
favorite song with fucking Uncle Al.
True.
Mm-hmm.
But no, my main thing from that song, I just love the piano on it, and just
It's
there's
real, yeah. It's real.
there's like sampling on it and stuff, and it's just like little vocal stuff here, and it's just the drum track's very nice, and it just feels like suit and tie nightclub kind of drinking music. You know what I mean?
You hear that like record scratch with the little like vocal in the background.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, a lot of the songs on this, like I vibe with like in such a different level, just because like you feel just like the rawness of it, because it's just like instrumental basically. Ajax, I loved Ajax.
That song.
When I
Great ending, and it's like in a lot of, especially like if you like watch like freestyles and stuff, a lot of songs on this album are used for like because just the beat is so good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like the whole that I always feel like when I'm listening to this, like I like a lot more like the bottom half of the
album in general. Yeah. You have that habit every time.
I do. That's what's bad.
You hate the beginning of every album.
You're like, I like the second half a little better.
Yeah. First one didn't wow me. Second half though.
fuck getting
It was alright.
into it.
Yeah.
Listen to the other
I just skip.
I'm just convinced that he starts at track 5.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
yeah,
Listen to
exactly.
the first
Yeah.
track.
I was gonna say
We have to
that.
remind him. He's like, oh yeah, no, it's fucking.
You heard the other first half, right?
As soon as I heard Ajax, it cracked me up because you told me you referred to Alex, my nephew Alexander as Ajax.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when,
like Ajax.
so when I heard that song, I was like,
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, hey, Ajax, what's up? It's funny. But, no, there's so much on this, you know. I mean, Disappearing Ink, in
yes.
my opinion, that's like modern Alchemist sound to a T.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, all of this stuff, I think he does a really good job of picking the tracks to put on one release, because this is all very good stuff to just put on and do, you know, kind of like, I think that's kind of the main attraction to instrumental albums for me, is it's, you know, I don't want to focus on something, so I'm just going to throw on an instrumental album, and I have other stuff I need to do, but my brain needs music a lot of the time, so I just...
Soothe the soul.
Exactly.
Relatable.
You know, sometimes I'll watch like a podcast, you know, sometimes I need like music, and if I don't want to focus on like, you know, lyricism, I throw this on all the time, and so I was so excited that you brought it up. My top 3, Terry first, actually, not Know You Wrong.
That's in my top 3.
Yeah, I was surprised because I went through and I listened to it again, and I was like, because I knew those 2 songs were on there already. I was like, I don't know which one's gonna be my top 1 though. And I listened through and I was like, I can't. That guitar, that guitar riff on Terry just does something for me. And so I was like, that's
Dude.
first, Know You Wrong, and then Fetty, just because that Fetty beat is fucking iconic. Yeah.
I like today, like when I was listening to the albums again, I listened to not the instrumental, I was listening to the actual tracks of the artist,
Okay.
and I did that just because I
Did you
could.
listen to Seas of Power?
No, I don't listen to. I listened.
Dude,
I listened to.
gotta listen to
I
that.
didn't. I wasn't aware, like, cause I had heard it, but I wasn't aware that was Prodigy. That's really cool. I'll
So
definitely check it
good,
out.
Dude, Havoc goes hard on.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
But I was listening just to like the artist that he gave it to,
Yeah.
and it made me appreciate it like a lot more, just because like that Schoolboy Q, like he makes it his own.
Yeah.
Like it passes on basically.
Yeah.
Like the sampling goes to one person, and then the beat maker makes it his own, and then the actual like rapper makes it his own.
Yeah.
I think, and
So
it's
that's
something
what-
like we talked about before, where it's like, you know, like Alchemist, for example, like definitely caters his sound to the artist and like molds it for
Yeah.
them.
Oh yeah.
And like does something specifically catered to this artist.
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of. I mean,
that's the beauty behind it.
Superpowers don't exist, but I think that
It's just a great.
Alchemist has that superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ajax with like Makami and West Side Gun, and like Terry with Action Bronson. Like I liked Action Bronson, and I wasn't too big of his music.
Yeah.
But when I heard Terry and he's rapping over it, like
Changed.
changed
Perfect
the
beat
game.
for him.
Changed the
Perfect
game,
beat
yeah.
for him too. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's
do
all
it fast.
Mhm.
It's all just and then you even, just the different kind of sounds that are on it. Like there's xylophone samples, like bongo samples, giving it kind of like a jungly kind of feel. It's all around very good pick.
Yeah, I think if I had a top 3, I'd probably say Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Cobb. Terry is super good. I've swapped from Know You're Wrong and Ajax.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like that Know You're Wrong because the fact that like now knowing that was for Q, that Schoolboy Q, that's like really cool.
Yeah.
It's a solid track. So
Did you guys have a top
I
there?
had a top 3. Jabroni, just because of the throwback, just.
Yeah.
oh dude,
And
I
like
love that. I love that you found that.
I feel like anybody could just kind of
You
spit
guys
their
gotta
own.
send me that song.
I will. Anybody could kind of spit their own poetry or rap to that because it's very like it's ambient, but it's also like very kind of almost street. It's just very fast, and I like that. Terry, everybody's liking that song, and I like Father Like Son Part 2. Just had a wacky
Nice.
it had a
That's a good
wacky vibe. And it was great sampling all through the whole song.
Yeah.
So it's my top 3.
Hell yeah.
I think for me, Cobb is
Yeah.
my favorite one, and then Terry, and then Susan Power.
Yeah.
I can't not like Susan Power. It's just Havoc really went hard.
And then hearing, it make like we were kind of talking, it makes you appreciate the instrumental that much more.
And I think he was kind of like, I don't know how to say it. Like he was like almost speaking in behalf of Prodigy when he was like, rapping on this
Okay.
track.
Yeah.
He was like,
I'll have to check that out.
yeah, you guys should definitely check it out. Susan Power.
Yeah, I'm definitely good.
But any final thoughts for RBF4?
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's
Full circle. It's fun to fun to find an artist like that. Just
Yo, that
combines
album
both
sucks.
different.
No.
there's a lot.
It's fun.
There's a lot of really good. It was tough, dude. I was gonna pick Shades of Blue, Mad Lib.
Oh.
I should have. I was like,
I'm glad you picked this. Honestly,
Yeah.
because
But
Next time.
it
Yeah.
just shows that
Always the next time. Always the next
I
time.
like it.
Absolutely. Well, that was Rapper's Best Friend 4 by The Alchemist. That was Jake's pick for this week. We'll be right back and dive into mine. So we're doing mine. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
let's do it. Yeah.
Alrighty, so we just wrapped up talking about Jake's pick for this week. We're going to go ahead and talk about mine, which was Weird and Wonderful by Liquid Stranger, released.
I feel like I wanna get down.
2017. More of an EP than a full album, only about 27 minutes long. Liquid Stranger is a Swedish dubstep artist, EDM artist. He's been actually active since the late 80s. And so
Wow. Okay.
he's
Okay.
yeah, so and he has a lot of background. He started off as a synth pop musician, like doing more synthesizer stuff, and then ended up doing like world music, like he's done all sorts of stuff. And so he started Liquid Stranger as kind of a moniker for him to release all of his stuff on, and he has turned into one of the bigger EDM and dubstep artists right now. So I personally love this album.
Okay.
I found out about it right about when I started mixing and DJing. So yeah, I have a lot to say about it, but what did you guys think?
It was my first introduction to EDM in general, because I never sat down and listened to EDM at all. It's not that I'm against it at all, but it's just not something I sit down and be like, okay, let's put this on and see what goes on.
Yeah.
It's kind of
So-
hard to.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's
but
kind of hard to just like sit down and listen to like dubstep or like.
Yeah.
So I put it on as I was driving,
Mhm.
going to work, kind of like you do with Godspeed, and I enjoyed it. It was it had its build-ups in different songs, and it was accessible for somebody that never listened to that music before. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for that point. Sounds like he's very into his craft. He knows what he's doing, and like you said, he's one of the leads in that kind of music genre. So
Yeah, more now. So it's like he is already big. Like he's doing like big festivals, but his popularity is like rising more right now because people that are into Liquid Stranger are really fucking into Liquid Stranger. Like they're like all of his fans are like diehard.
Fans are fans.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's like gaining more popularity. He's been doing more stuff, playing bigger festivals and stuff. But it's this album like really. This is a good introduction to Liquid Stranger, but he does so much other stuff. Like he has like this is there's tracks on here that are more mellow, but it is kind of on the more aggressive side.
I think it's a really good introduction to just dubstep in general.
I believe the same.
I think so.
I thought this was going to be a challenge, but when I was listening to it, I was like, I can fuck with it.
Yeah. It's like not that
and
insane.
Like you
it's
said,
not
like
that
I
crazy.
wasn't really like I'm not into like EDM stuff like that. Like
Right.
Maybe like we'll listen to like house.
Yeah.
But like most of my electronic music is like Daft Punk or something.
Yeah.
So this was like really wild to me, but it was very digestible.
Yeah.
It was kind of like I said, it's kind of like an introduction to dubstep, like a
Yeah.
easy
Because
introduction to dubstep.
exactly, because it kind of does show you all of the different kind of aspects to that genre, because
Yeah,
there are,
absolutely.
it's not all just aggressive, like, da, 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 da. There is like some more mellow stuff to it, and I think that's why I like it so much, is because it is very dynamic. There's,
And so like I wanted to actually talk to all of you guys because you guys all played an instruments, right? So like when I listened to Daft Punk, like I did this thing where I would like pick apart like each instrument.
yeah, and try to figure out what it was, kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then also like I would do this thing where it's like,
Yeah.
and then they change the beat. I'm like, okay. Is that octaves or
That's
was
just,
it?
I think it's just timing and
They're just like
there's, like,
timing, and because
4/4
everything
or
is
3/3, yeah.
like measures wise. Like a lot of that stuff's written to
Okay,
measure.
so measures.
Yeah,
That's what
so-
it is. Okay.
Yeah, so sheet music, and so it's just like time signatures and stuff like that. Like, for a good example, Space Boss off of this album, there's right after the second drop where the chick says prepare for the laser, and then it starts going, he actually switches, he starts going double time with the drum beat. Like, it's very long and drawn out, and then he does this for like 2 seconds and then cuts it out. So it is, and especially because you're working out of these programs where you can just throw on a click track behind it while you're making your beat or EDM track, and so it is still very measure wise, because it'll keep you honest.
And so
essentially.
that's why like I was talking about it earlier, where it's like you have like a lot of creativity when
Yeah, when you're able to do that.
you're just instruments only, or just like beats or anything.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
have so much control over it to where you have different sounds that could almost mimic like a voice.
Exactly.
And that's something that like Kanye West, for example, like
Exactly.
does with his voice sounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, this was like super interesting. Like I definitely like love this. Like I think like the reason why I like instrumental so much is because I do the thing where it's like,
Yeah, you try to dissect it.
Mhm.
yeah, and it's like super fun to do that.
Mhm.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, and if you're more familiar with it, like you can kind of tell, like, oh, I remember this is like 5 seconds from coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's it being that it's so short. There's not really a lot to say about it, but it does have. That was my favorite thing about it, going back through, because this was my introduction to Liquid Stranger. That's why I was like, if this was mine, I'm gonna have y'all be the same way.
It just bangs.
And yeah, and I was really, because I had heard Space Boss, that was the first song I heard off of it, and I was like, oh, I want to go check out this project. And I went through and listened, and I was like, oh shit, he kind of does touch all of the different aspects of this genre, which I thought was really nice, even up into the Get Well Soon track. That's a very nice, like, mellow
I thought
ending.
it was funny you said Space Boss featuring Space Jesus.
Oh yeah, no, Space Jesus is another huge guy in the EDM scene right now, and so that's I thought that was awesome that he had him on there.
Yeah. Dude, I hadn't. It was funny when I was listening to this because I hadn't heard dubstep in a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I used to like listen. That used to be like all I listened to.
Dude, he used to
Like I used to just listen to like EDM, and dubstep.
all the time.
Not Excision. I did go to their show when they came to Eugene, but not like it. Just put me back to that headspace that I was like always listening to, like all the like. I was looking at. It was funny. I was looking at like the like related or whatever like Spotify gives you, and I was like recognizing all these names. I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, I haven't heard of these guys in forever.
Yeah, it put me back, but it like kind of surprised me because I was kind of expecting that like hard dubstep kind of like because there is definitely different types. Some of them are like a little more mellow, and some of them are for sure like a lot more like intense and like a lot more like feeling back to it. But this, it wasn't like I was like, okay, I'm waiting for the drop, like where is it at, you know? And it finally came up, yeah, like on Spacebox and Hotbox. Those were a little bit more like the heavier ones, you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it put me back to that when I was like really listening to that shit.
Yeah.
It was cool, but I'm surprised. Like you were saying that he's been doing this for a while. I had not known that. Like
Since like literally the late '80s.
Yeah.
Because he's an old head.
I would never guess.
I didn't see that fact.
Especially because this album came out in 2017. Like at that point, I hadn't been listening to this type of music for a while.
Yeah.
And like it threw me off. Like if this would have came out when he would have been huge. I feel.
Oh God, yeah.
He would have been massive. Like everyone would have been listening to this guy.
He kind of switched to this. Like he had a different like alias that he was performing under for the longest time.
All right,
and then he was in like worked with a couple groups, and he did start doing the Liquid Stranger stuff at the time of the big EDM dubstep wave that came in like the early 2010s. I think he started that in like 09 or 2010, and he just went under the radar because guys like Skrillex and fucking Cruella and Excision just blew up immediately. And so he kind of got overshadowed because he was still trying to find his ground. And then he was like, let me do this and then do some of this too. And so he found like his little bubble that he could kind of intersect off of.
It's kind of like one of those things like we talked about Elzai, where it's like, when you're putting out good content, but you're not promoting it, it just easily goes under the table.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And it's like, that's another example of this person. And it like, talk about a name, Liquid Strangers.
Yeah.
Such a dope name.
I feel like I would have heard that name at some point because there was some insane ass fucking names in like the dubstep shit.
Yeah.
Like fucking Zomboy and like all these like crazy ass names like something House Mafia or like all these crazy names that like how would I not have heard of this?
Right.
And it would have been really good. It would have been really fucking good. But even right now when I was listeing to it, like I liked it.
Yeah.
For what it was.
Right.
The reason why I like the title of Liquid Strangers is because it reminds me of Liquid Swords from
Yeah, a little bit.
Jizza. So I'm like, I feel like it's like a low key like homage to
Right.
Jizza.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty dope.
And
Liquid Swords.
when he started out, he was trying to do like the hide your identity kind of thing, that a lot of people do. And he was doing that to like kind of save his, identity or what have you. And
I was about COVID before COVID was COVID.
yeah, so he was like wearing a mask with like light up like like the ribbon lights.
Yeah.
So he's wearing a mask, and he was doing that for the longest time. And he was quoted in an interview as saying, because he stopped doing it, he just started performing with his face. And they're like, what happened to the whole mask thing? And he was like, well, it got really tricky, and it was like just kind of a pain in the ass to do. And also my record label started printing my legal name on the album sleeves. He's like, so it kind of fucked it up. And so that was like early. He got like a couple years out of that, and then they started. He was like, I tried to tell him not to. He's like, I guess my hands are kind of tied. But as much as I love this album, I do have to pick a top three. My favorite one is Hotbox. That second drop in it with that vocal sample of I feel like I want to get down, and then it's basically the same drop as before, but just a little more intense with slight tempo change.
Yeah.
Space Boss, as I said earlier, that song's just epic. And then Who, because it was kind of a nice in-between. It still had kind of the aggressive synth sound, but it was also kind of spacey and melodic. So those were my top three, though.
Yeah, me being the EDM virgin I am, launched the way it started out. It reeled me in. Launched, reeled me in. It set the tone for the album.
It's a great opener.
Yeah, I like Frankenstein because of the name.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that was one of my favorite ones.
I like the background synth sounds and the samples in that song as well. They're really cool. And then Get Well Soon Aaron had a slow start that kind of builds up, and enjoyed like the bouncy kind of feel got to the whole song. So those are my top three.
Nice. What about you guys?
I definitely liked I liked Who. That I think I liked Who a lot. And then Frankenskank, just because those aren't too. The name is the name first off, and then it's not like super crazy. Like that's something that I leaned more towards.
Shut up, Skank.
You said shut up, Skank. Yo, we keeping that in.
I hear the wheeze, dude. It sounds like
Salacious Crumb every time, dog.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put that visual up.
Right?
Yeah. What's it called? The Dark Crystal, where the
Labyrinth? Yeah, Dark Crystal.
The Skeksis,
Yeah.
God damn it. But Frankenstein.
Alright.
Frankenstein.
Alright, I'm sorry.
No, we can edit this. Yeah.
No, dude,
I'm keeping it.
Let's keep it in. Let's keep it in, please.
I didn't cut shit last time.
I almost got run over by a Prius. Alright, give me some fucking space, guys. Fuck.
Jesus Christ. Alright.
Imagine getting run over by a Prius.
Jesus Christ.
Alright.
Frankenstein. That was your second one.
Oh, yeah, and then Space Boss. Space Boss was cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah. George, what were your top three?
So I really liked Get Well Soon. I thought that one was I think my favorite out of this album.
Nice.
And then Launch, and then Space Boss.
Nice. Good mix.
Dude, this was like a very fantastic album. Like, I'm really glad that you broadened my horizons.
Yeah.
Cause I always wanted to hate dubstep. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I always wanted to hate dubstep, but
That's easy, I feel like.
It is.
A lot of
this
people.
shit was really mellow.
Yeah.
To where it was digestible.
And even the stuff that is the more aggressive side, it's catchy enough to where it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
so I definitely appreciate this album. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, thank you. No, it was for me when I started mixing. I was doing a lot of house, more like Mr. Oizo, French, French British nightclub shit. And because I had my dubstep phase, with Skrillex and all that, whatever. And then I got into this DJ Rez, and I was on Pandora, just listening to her music, trying to find other stuff, and Space Boss came on, and that. So
always
I was
recommendations.
I was
actually kind of fire with the recommendations.
Yeah, when I was first getting into mixing and really getting passionate about it, that was when I was using Pandora a lot, and Space Boss came on, and I was like, oh no, I really liked that. I really didn't like that. So I went and listened to the whole thing, and I was like, God damn it. And it was, I was trying to broaden, get better at mixing and, challenge myself a little bit. And so I was like, how can I take stuff like this and work it into an hour-long mix that's mainly house, but have this in it? So that's why, I love this album so much. So I'm really glad that you guys liked it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That was cool.
That being said, we'll take a quick little breather and then dive into George's.
I just gotta fix. I'm just lazy. I got a string I gotta fucking fix, and then I can play it.
Yeah. All right, boys. Shit, I'm gonna go so far away.
Ready.
All right. Well, we just wrapped up talking about my album, Weird and Wonderful by Liquid Stranger. We're going to go ahead and dive into George's pick for this week. What did you bring for us?
Propellerheads, Decksanddrumsandrockandroll.
What's different, Pete, about the 69 that makes it so exciting to you?
2,000 people in a seething, roaring, shouting mass.
All the people I know are musicians. I revolve around music. That's all I know. They've each got their own little thing that they like.
Yeah.
Pretty sick name. Just kind of funny. Like
I thought it was all spaced out, and for some reason I thought it was like DEX. That's why I had to like call you, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like trying to get a hold of you. I was like, "What is? How do I find this?" And so I just went to their discography and found it on Wikipedia. I was like, "All right, cool. That's it." I didn't realize it was.
Things
Yeah.
like last week. I just want to sing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like
It's all one word. Like,
yeah. Decks and
nonsense.
drums and rock and
Yeah,
roll,
it's
but that's a pretty sick name.
Yeah, I liked it.
So I thought this album was like really impactful in terms of entertainment because Spybreak, in Matrix.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Your Majesty, what's it called?
On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yes, James Bond.
Mm-hmm. Dude.
And so like that's what I wanted to tell you about, like bringing up the album cover. It's like me being a kid, Jared would play this album. Me being a kid listening to this dramatic, like crazy, like action type music. I would look at the album, I would look at the CD, and I was like, dude, these dudes are just like walking and there's a fucking explosion behind them. I'm like,
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's cool album.
it's like me being a kid. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
you know, it definitely, like, this album, when I listen to it, it brings the kid out of me.
Yeah.
Just because it's super like expressive and stuff like that. Yeah, what did you guys think about it? Very
liked it.
interested in
I liked it. It's like it was a unique collection of beats and sounds that just combined for an album. Just great. In a sense. De La Soul and Jungle Brothers has some credits on there.
Yeah.
There are some other different things in there, which is cool. And Take California, one of the songs in there,
first song. Yeah,
was used in the Apple iPod commercial when it debuted in 2001.
I didn't even know.
Yeah,
Wow.
some like random facts. So like they had some sort of like it resonated with that time and that frame of music. So it was catchy and poppy, and they used it for that commercial, which is kind of cool.
That's that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Listening
Taught
to
me,
this,
dude. I didn't know that. That
Yeah.
was like literally in the Apple
Yeah.
commercial.
I could see it though, cause I feel like it had a lot of success. If it was in movies, it was in like James Bond, and then also in the Matrix. Like, dude,
It had
Those are
that
very-
feel too.
Yeah.
exactly. It had that feel that it pushed people like into it. Like it, dude, it was crazy. I got so into this, like especially like throughout this week when I was like driving and stuff, like to work and whatever, and like going places.
Just driving music. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like a racer, dude. Like I'm like turning lanes and I'm like going fast and I'm like checking my mirrors, like not even looking at my speed. I'm going like 100 on fucking who knows where. Like I'm in, dude. I'm like in the zone. I'm in the Matrix. Like I feel like
I'm in the Matrix.
yeah, dude. Like I'm plugged in. Like I'm so like it's crazy, man. Like when I was listening to it.
Winning style.
Yeah.
George.
Dude,
Get ready
yeah.
for a mind-blowing afternoon.
Yeah.
I think one of the track, definitely the Majesty song. But
Yeah. On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Bro.
Dude,
So,
that
like,
song.
I think it's like probably like 6 minutes in, and where it's like it slows down. It's like it slows down, and they're like.
Yeah.
And it made me think of you because like the drums, like
Yeah.
it's like the what is it called, like the hi-hat? Right?
Yeah. It was that little middle break was very nice. I did like it.
Yeah.
Because it was very epic. It almost had like a I was like, damn, this feels like a Beatles song. And then I was like, looked at the title and I was like, oh, that's why, because it's like this is British as fuck, you know. And the fact that it's on James Bond, I thought it was hilarious. I didn't know.
Like, where's Daniel Craig at?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't realize. I didn't make the connection that it was in the Matrix Spirit Break, but halfway through the
Spy
album,
Break, yeah,
Spy Break. Halfway through the album, I wrote a note and I was like, feels like some of this could be in the Matrix, and then one of the last songs on like the original release was in fact in the Matrix. So I thought that was pretty funny. It was like, so
yeah, dude, the whole video of that song and them, like they literally like have guns on guns, like they have like little Uzis, they have like, you know,
yeah,
MP5s and stuff like that. Like it's a very epic moment, but
right.
I thought it was really interesting. I didn't really like talk to people about this, but so that scene with Spy Break playing, you could like take a picture of it and draw it, and it will look like anime.
You're right. Yeah.
It like I want to do it. I want
Do
to
it.
try it.
Fuck it.
Because like I need to like show you guys like what I mean. But it's a very, very interesting album. Stuff like Velvet Pants. Super funny. That was like my favorite song to listen to as a kid.
And the
before
album,
I knew I was like fucking gay.
Yeah. I liked Velvet Pants a lot. I was sitting there like cleaning up my kitchen this morning, just like head bobbing.
The little piano.
Yeah, and it was, I noticed, because that's like like the third or fourth track. The album has like a nice little build up, and it's like it kind of starts off already, but then it kind of goes different areas, like, you know, with the Majesty song and all that,
and stuff like 360 with De La Soul. Like it's very like early 2000s like skateboarder shit.
Oh yeah. Well,
Which is
speaking
pretty
of
tight, you know, it's like it really was a staple in
a lot of cultures.
Exactly, yeah, and it was just like really interesting to see, especially like having like, I mean, the Propellerheads are like people. I think they're from like Germany or Europe or whatever, but for them to like have like people like Jungle Brothers and De La Soul, like that's mind blowing.
Right.
So it was really interesting to see.
I think like something that really put me on to a lot of their stuff, like listening to it, it kind of sounds similar, a lot of the tracks, like, you know, like it's like the real like catchy hi-hats and like a lot of beats like layering and layering, but a lot of the tracks on it, especially this one I like really liked also, Coming to Getcha.
Yeah.
Coming to Getcha, man. Like every time, like especially that song, the Majesty song, and then also Ron's Theory, like a lot of the time in my day I'm like driving, and when I was driving, dude, I felt so in the zone, man.
Right.
I felt like I the screens were closing and I see just my eyes and like I'm like focused.
You got your blinders on.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. Like it just gives you that, like you feel like you're like in like a movie, and you're on a race, you gotta be doing something. Yeah, you got somewhere to go, like you're like zoned in. Like it's crazy how, and I appreciate it so much, and I was like, dude, why am I enjoying this so much? Like I caught myself today. I was like, why am I so into this? Like I'm like driving, and like someone driving past me is like, what the fuck is this person doing? Like
yeah, just some,
I'm just like like going to it, but yeah,
I
man.
think for me, it's kind of like one of those guilty like pleasures where it's like I listen to this and I'm like, damn, this is whack, but I'm like, they should bangs.
yeah, dude, yeah.
But so you remember Jason, right? Jason used to play Come Getcha on his guitar all the time. It's a very good like song to practice because it's like it's strumming, right?
Yeah.
It's like really, really good. I think it's really cool that they bring like different instruments into a song. Shout out to their name, Decksanddrumsandrockandroll.
Yeah.
Where it's like they do have like EDM influences, but they also have like rock influences, but also hip hop. Like
Yeah.
So like, what is it? Better,
Yeah.
which reminds me of Stay Dope from the Alchemist Prodigy album.
Yeah.
Boom,
Yeah. Just very.
boom,
Yeah.
boom, and Better does that too.
Right.
I kind of like, it's almost shocking when I listen to that song and then I listen to Stay Dope, because they do the same thing where it's like, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy how like, man, how they use the drums in it. It's really crazy, and it held my attention for a long time that I was listening to it, because it's a pretty long, like especially the one
2
like
hours.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 2 hours 30
The
minutes. or
20th
something.
anniversary.
Yeah, the one that has like everything and like all the remixes of that one song. That song is like really good, and it's. I mean, I see why they did like 4 other versions of it, because it's really catchy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, honestly, it was a lot to take in, and it was, picking a top 3 was tough for me. Number 3 for me was Echo and Bounce, just because, Take California is epic as it is,
Yeah.
but I felt like I really liked that one, and then Echo and Bounce came on, and I was like, all right, now we're like into it. Now we're really getting into what this is going to be. Number 2 was Oh Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fire.
Really liked the drumming on that, and then the little skateboard sample sound of someone like doing an ollie and shit. That was pretty cool. And then Better, there was a couple of little samples they used that kind of reminded me of some other artists that I was like, oh man, like that's really cool. So those would be my top 3 if I had to pick, but that was tough. I literally finished listening to it, went and did some other stuff, and hadn't even done my top 3, and I was like,
There's so much to choose.
I know.
Yeah.
I had to take a breather from it, and then I was like, okay.
My top 3 were Better, Winning Style. I like that song. And then,
Nice.
like Jacob said earlier, Coming to Get You. The way that song starts off with that, the guy's like, as
Yeah.
a matter of fact, I swallowed one of these about 2 hours ago, and the explanation is it is in fact my hand.
Yeah.
And it's like goes into the song, and you're just like, yeah. What the fuck did that guy just say?
What did that even mean?
Yeah.
you hear it and you're like, what? And then it goes in and it hits you with the track, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Guess we're into it.
fun.
It's the samples that they do,
Yeah.
the voices that just really do it for me for this album.
Yeah.
That being said, Bang On is one of my favorite ones. Better, and then I have to pick Velvet Pants.
Yeah. That song's really good too.
But it's so I wanted to show you guys earlier. I'll have to do it later, but I used to put my headphones on and listen to Bang On while I'm watching Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, you sent us that. That was pretty tight.
Yeah, well, I use the Alchemist.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but Bang On, that was something that I just put my earphones on and I would listen to it.
Make your own little anime music video for it.
In my mind, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I used to do that same shit with some
Picturing
stuff.
yourself.
Dude, yeah. It's but yeah, I mean this album is shout out to Jared. Fuck you, asshole. But
You guys.
it's
Fuck you, asshole.
well, Matt said.
My flea impression.
Yeah, so that album
definitely
just brought the child out.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I have a memory of me and my parents went to Baja California.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what song I played?
Bang On.
Baja California.
There you go.
And I would listen to it and I'm like,
We're going there right now.
Yeah.
Hell
but
yeah.
it's a very great album.
Yeah, it is definitely
Glad
one.
you guys liked it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I feel like you can't not like this, especially how big it was at the time, and it's so the fact that it was in movies and a lot of people watched that type of movie. It'll always be around for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
But definitely, I already mentioned them. I really like On Her Majesty's Secret Service, dude.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm so like I feel like it takes me somewhere.
We gotta
Right.
play that.
Anywhere. Coming to Getcha, and then Ron Theory.
Yeah. Great picks.
Yeah.
Great picks. And a great album.
Yeah, thank you.
And subsequently, a great episode.
I agree.
We really tore it up. I'm gonna grab my next week's pick. All right.
So in the same order, right?
Yep. So we'll go in the same order that we started in. So that means Matt, you get to drop the bomb on us first. What do you got?
We go in very late 80s, early 90s, hip hop, jazz funk, going with De La Soul's debut album with 3 Feet High and Rising.
Oh
Yes. Nice.
Fuck yes. My God. All right.
Nice transition.
Yeah. That's
Nice transition.
He set us up for failure.
yeah. You really did. I don't know if this were a contest. I don't know if I'm winning this week. And Jacob, what did you got?
My pick, Shuggy Otis, Freedom Flight.
Ooh.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
This is 70s, early 70s, I want to say.
Nice.
Excited
Dude,
for that.
some good stuff, man. I think you guys will like it.
Yeah.
So.
Hell yeah. And then it's my turn. Going with Reise by Rammstein. Industrial metal. German industrial metal from the early 2000s. One of my favorite albums. My opinion, no skips. So we'll see what you guys think of that one.
I'm excited to dive into that one.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun one. But what do you got for us?
I'm coming out from like left field,
Nicki Minaj.
but Mystic Styles by 3 6 Mafia.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I'm looking
I
forward.
think that was their first album. Came out in '95.
Probably close to it. I'm stoked.
Dude,
We're
Cheers.
damn. This is
it's a good lineup.
We
Yeah.
we went instrumental. That was the one theme we shared this week, and then we're like, hey, now that we're adding vocals, let's fucking go everywhere. Like, let's just scatter like roaches when a light turns on. Like, but
We surprise each other every time.
I know, it's like, damn, all right.
It's dope.
But with that, this has been the instrumental version of Whatchu Spinnin. This has been episode 15. I'm Dorian, joined as always by George at the end with the cool shades, Matt in the middle, and Jake. And we will see you next time. Have a great one.